What is going on, everyone? My name is Aaron, and thank you all so much for tuning into the channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you all how to rig what might be the best bass lure ever created, the Senko. The Senko is great because it catches a lot of bass, but it also catches a lot of big bass. It's also, in my opinion, the best lure for any new angler to start off with. I'm going to go ahead and pin timestamps in the comments for you guys, and I'm also going to link all the tackle in the description. So come with me. I'm going to go over the bait, the tackle you need, and how to rig the Weightless Texas Rig Senko. Let's do it, guys. Now, when it comes to stick baits, there are a ton of options available. The Yamamoto Senko is the most popular stick bait on the market, but there are other companies that make a great stick bait as well, such as Berkeley, Zoom, Biospawn, and Gambler. I prefer the Senko for a couple reasons. The first reason is its salt content. The Senko is loaded with salt, which gives it a faster sink rate and makes it have a softer composition than other brands, giving it better action. This is actually a trade-off though, because it makes the Senko less durable than other brands. The second reason is availability. The Senko is one lure that you can pick up at almost any sporting good department or tackle store around the country, making it very easy to find. When it comes to colors, I keep it extremely simple. In clear water, I'm going to use the green pumpkin with black flake, and in dirty or dingy water, I'm going to use the black with blue flake. Most of your big box stores and any tackle retailer in the country should have both of these colors in stock. The hook is probably the most overlooked part of your Texas rig setup. Most people don't realize how much the hook size, and in particular the gauge or thickness of your hook, is going to affect your ability to keep fish pinned. Most of us have had the terrible experience of fishing a lure and repeatedly losing fish over and over again. Most of the time, that's actually due to using the incorrect rod power or the incorrect hook size. So what I'm about to share with you is really going to increase your landing ratio. Just like the stick bait itself, there are a lot of really great hooks to choose from. One thing is for sure though, you're going to want an EWG hook instead of a round bend hook. That's going to allow the worm to stay on the hook better. The only time I use a round bend hook anymore is when I'm fishing a punching rig, but that's a video for a different day. Gamakatsu, Berkeley, and Owner all make an excellent hook, but my preferred hook is the VMC Ringed Hook. This hook is different from the others because your line attaches to the ring on the hook and not directly to the eye of the hook itself. This allows the bait to swivel and position correctly in the bass's mouth, giving you a much better hook set angle. The ring hook is most likely one you're not going to find in your big box stores, so if you can't find it, don't worry, the regular EWG will do just fine. When it comes to the size of the hook, most anglers prefer a 2/0 to a 5/0 size hook. Matter of fact, go ahead and comment down below in the video what hook you guys prefer with your stick baits. For myself, the sweet spot with a 5-inch stick bait is a 4/0 hook. Now remember what I said earlier about losing fish? This is really where you're going to want to pay attention. There are two different thicknesses or gauges when it comes to these hooks. You have your regular or thinner wire hook, and you have your thicker or super line heavy duty hook. If you're going with a medium, heavy, or lighter rod, you're going to want to go with a thinner wire hook. That's because with a lower power rod, you're going to need a thinner hook to get better hook penetration. If your hook is too thick and your rod is not powerful enough, you're not going to be able to penetrate the bass's gill plate, which is going to lead to you losing fish. This hook is going to apply to most new anglers because typically people getting into fishing are going to be using spinning gear. For anyone using a medium heavy or higher power rod, you're going to want to use the HD hooks. But wait, Aaron, didn't you just say with a medium heavy rod use the lighter gauge hook? Why yes I did. Let me quickly explain. Every company rates their rods differently. So a medium heavy with one company might be closer to a medium, and a medium heavy with another company might be closer to a heavy rod. If you're using a medium heavy rod, I suggest buying both hooks to experiment around and see which one works best with your gear. Getting back to the hooks, the reason why you're going to use a heavy duty gauge with a medium heavy or higher power rod is simple. We are no longer worried about hook penetration. Your rod is going to have more than enough backbone to get the job done. Now we need a hook that is not going to bend out on us when we use a more powerful rod. So just remember, on a medium heavy or lower power setup, we're going to use that thinner wire 4/0 hook. On a medium heavy or higher power setup, we're going to use that thicker 4/0 hook. Got it? Now that we've covered the bait and the hooks, it's time for the fun part, putting it all together. I'm going to be giving you all two different ways to rig this hook, one for the lighter gauge hook and one for the heavier gauge hook. Let's start with the lighter hook. Both start off the exact same way. We're going to run the head of the worm to the bend in the hook. After we've gotten to the hook bend, we're going to come out of the side of the worm and run it all the way up to where it's covering our line tie, allowing it to twist as it gets up there. Side note, if you haven't learned any fishing knots, I highly recommend the polymer knot as it's going to cover most of your fishing needs. Now that we've covered our knot with the Senko, it's time to go back through the body of the bait. Gently pull the worm down and mark where the natural point of that hook would come through the worm at. Go ahead and put that hook through the middle of the worm and come out the other side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to bury or text pose that hook point back into the worm. And voila, you have your weedless, weightless Texas rigged Senko. Now that you've seen it with a thinner hook, let me show you how to rig it with the super line or heavy duty hook. We're going to start the exact same way. So run the head of the bait to the bend of the hook. Go ahead and come out the side. Run it up the body to where it covers your knot. Gently pull the worm down. Find that natural point of entry. And this is what we're going to do a little bit different. So instead of coming all the way through the hook and then text posing on the other side, we're actually going to bury it inside the worm. So you can see that path of where it should come inside the worm. So all you do instead of coming out the other side is leave it buried inside there. The reason for rigging it that way is because with our higher power rod, we don't have to worry about the hook penetration coming through that plastic worm. This method is excellent in heavy cover as it is completely weedless. The only con to rigging it that way is you're going to go through more baits because you're going to tear up and rip that plastic more. The Texas Rig Senko is arguably the best bass fishing lure ever invented. It's an incredibly effective tool to have in your arsenal, especially spring through fall. It's a great technique to use when the power fishing bite is not there or you're in post-frontal conditions. For my personal setup, I typically run a more stout, medium heavy rod with that thicker or heavy duty hook. I fish it on a 6'9" rod to be able to make those pinpoint casts in the heavy cover. My preferred line size is 17-pound fluorocarbon, and if you're using this on a spinning setup, I would not recommend going any lighter than 10-pound tests. The great thing about this lure is you all can fish it on whatever gear you all currently have. You won't need to go out and purchase any specialized gear to get started fishing the Senko. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching to the end of the video. If you all like this content, please like and subscribe for much more to come. Now it's time to get out, enjoy the great outdoors, tie on a Senko, and hang on for the ride. Thank you all for watching, and I cannot wait to see you guys on the next one.